Okay, so good afternoon. This is ENS 185 on statistical inferences. So, see, statistical inferences is actually just the continuation of our estimation of population parameter. Okay, so lahat ng napag-aralan natin on the Z distribution, T distribution, chi-square distribution, at yung F distribution carry over sa statistical inferences. Definitely, the basic definition of statistical inferences is we are now making statements about our population parameter. So, extension to siya nung estimation natin. So in this presentation on statistical inferences, we will be able to discuss the principle of statistical inference, the hypothesis on how to do the hypothesis for a statistical inference, the hypothesis testing procedures, how do we calculate the errors in hypothesis testing, and we will have case studies where we will be able to use the statistical inferences natin and hypothesis testing. And finally, we'll do summary of the sampling distributions in hypothesis testing. So, um, let's have an introduction of the statistical inferences. I'm gonna open ko lang yung reference natin. So definitely, in any field of study, an assertion or hypothesis may be made about a characteristic of a population. So just like what we have deal with the past lectures natin, we always try to get the parametric value of the population based on our sample. So with the sample available, we now make inference about a parameter rather than rather than obtaining the estimate of its value. So instead na mag-estimate tayo ng value, we will now make inference. No? Doon sa ginawa natin last time, we estimate the value of the parameter. Either we will have a point of the estimator natin, no? Or we will have the confidence interval. Dito, instead of estimating, we will now make inference. No? Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon tayo ng conclusion. We will have to derive or produce a statement that will be based on our experiment or based on the evidences na nakuha natin. A hypothesis that a particular population parameter has just a value, as just one value is called the simple hypothesis. So while one which specifies an interval for the population parameter is called composite hypothesis. Kung specific value lang tayo, ang tawag sa kanya is simple hypothesis. Pero kung interval yung gagawin natin of a population parameter, ang tawag doon is composite hypothesis. So, the primary objective of statistical analysis is to use data from a sample to make inferences about the population from which the sample was drawn. So, this is repetitive na rin na ginagawa natin or in-explain natin that if we have a huge population and then we will have different samples. So if the population contains the population mean and the population standard deviation, then getting the sample will also give us individual sample mean and individual standard deviation. So, if you get the mean and the variance of the students in the entire country, we're actually describing the whole population. But if we only get the sample from the entire country by making some random test, like for example, the GATE test, the mean and the variance of the GATE test scores of all students of the certain school, for example, IAT, or of the KGP, or like pangalan ng lugar or pangalan ng institution. No, so we will now take the mean using that kind of test, and then getting students from that kind of test is actually sampling. These lectures aims to learn the basic procedures of making the inferences. So, the basic approach now is we will have two types, no? Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if we're just looking for the one value of population parameter, then it is just a simple hypothesis. So, that is the approach one. Yung mag-hypothesis testing tayo. So, we conduct tests on hypothesis by hypothesizing, no, or we hypothesize that one or more parameters has or have some specific values or relationship. So, very specific yung values na kinukuha natin dito, and then we hypothesize the parameter or population parameter. Then, we make our decision about the parameters based on one or more sample statistics. So ano yung mga sample statistics natin? We have the mean, the variance, the standard deviation. So from there, then we will make a decision on our population parameter. Accuracy of the decision is expressed as a probability that the decision is incorrect. So doon tayo titingnan sa accuracy niya, no? Yung accuracy ng hypothesis natin, or the accuracy of the decision natin is always expressed as the decision of incorrect. Maalala ninyo dun sa midterms natin, we approach this decision uh, which is an incorrect based on the alpha. No? So for example, we say that alpha is equal to 0.05, therefore, yung 0.05 na yun yung region kung saan incorrect tayo. No? Therefore, 0.95 or 95% correct tayo. No? So the accuracy is always based on the incorrectness, the alpha. Okay? So, we also have the second approach, which is the confidence interval measurement. So we estimate one or more parameter using sample statistics. This estimation usually done in the form of an interval. So kung magkakaroon tayo ng interval, definitely the accuracy will be based on the level of confidence we have in the interval. So that's why yung ginagawa natin nung midterms natin or on the estimation, we will have the level of confidence na tinatawag natin. No? Ibig sabihin, confident tayo na nandun yung population parameter natin. Okay, so what is hypothesis testing? Um, so what is hypothesis? Number one, maraming definition ng hypothesis, no? So we say that a hypothesis is an educated prediction that can be tested. 'Di ba, maalala ninyo sa steps for conducting research, no? Number one is you identify the problem, and then number two is that you gather information, and then number three is you do some hypothesis. So yung hypothesis, yun yung iniisip natin na posibleng mangyari. Okay? Si hypothesis is the educated guess or the educated prediction that can be tested. Yun yung inisip natin, okay, ito yung posibleng explanation. And then, ititest mo ngayon yung gusto mo na yun na explanation. Yeah, it's an educated prediction or guess. According to Wikipedia also, he said, it was stated that the hypothesis is a proposed explanation for a phenomenon. Okay? For example, merong nangyayari, no? For example, here, as Avogadro's hypothesis natin, we said that the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the number of molecules of the gas. So kung mas marami kang molecules, mas malaki yung volume natin. Yun yung sinabi sa Avogadro's. So that is an hypothesis because there is a phenomenon happening there na when you increase the molecules of the gas, the volume, or when you change the molecules of the gas such that you will increase that number of molecules, the volume of the gas will actually follows, no? So yung phenomenon na yon, gagawa ka ngayon ng hypothesis na, ay, it must be that when you increase the number of the molecules of the gas, then the volume of the gas will also follow. No? So, it's a proposed explanation for another thing. For example, you have a business, and then the business is going down, no, or nalulugi yung business natin. So pwede ka mag-derive ng hypothesis, maybe because of the bad service ninyo. So the hypothesis there is that the service, no, is not going well, no, or the service is not satisfactory. That's why bumababa yung business natin. No? So that is an hypothesis too. So you have to test now, hindi ba talaga maganda yung service ng business natin? No, you have to test now your hypothesis. According to Oxford Dictionary, the hypothesis is used to define the relationship between two variables. No, so automatically the two variables here, the independent and the dependent variable. So doon sa example natin sa business, yung business natin is directly proportional to the kind of the service you are serving the customers. So therefore, two variables nothing there are the business, or the quality of the business, the rate of the business, is it going down or is it going up, versus yung service natin na binibigay sa customer. Okay? So you have to relate the two variables. That's also an hypothesis. And according to the Walpole, which is the author of our main reference, the hypothesis is a supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. So ibig sabihin, may limited evidence ka na, meron ka ng parang nakikita na explanation doon. Meron ka nang nakikita na limited ibig sabihin kokonte or something like hindi siya enough na evidence, but then it will it will probably give rise for the further investigation. So pwede ka mag-investigate further. So yun si hypothesis natin. um if the hypothesis is stated in terms of population parameter such as mean and variance, the hypothesis is called statistical hypothesis. Okay? So if you're trying to find a population parameters, definitely we're trying to make a statistical hypothesis. So data from a sample which may be which may be an experiment are used to test the validity of the hypothesis. Again, nag-hypothesize tayo ngayon ng population natin. Now, kung mapinipredict natin si population natin, a procedure that enables us to agree or disagree with the statistical hypothesis is called the test of a hypothesis. So, yung procedure natin is what we call the test of hypothesis. So, later on, makikita natin ano yung step-by-step procedure ng test of hypothesis natin. For example, we have to determine whether the wages of men and women are equal. If we have to determine if pareha ba yung sweldo ng men and women, we have to hypothesize first. First hypothesis natin, pwede natin sabihin, okay, ang sweldo ng men and women are equal. That's an hypothesis. No, the second is the product in the market is of standard quality. So, magbibigay ka ngayon ng hypothesis mo and so on and so forth. So the main purpose of the statistical hypothesis testing is to choose between two competing hypotheses. 'Di ba? Again, define natin si statistical hypothesis as the hypothesis, no, for the population parameters natin. Now, if gagawa ka ng statistical hypothesis mo, this is the major or this is the bigger picture here. You have to choose two competing hypotheses. And then, pag na-prove mo yung isang hypothesis, automatically reject yung isa. Otherwise, kung na-prove mo na tama yung second hypothesis mo, automatically na rejected yung first hypothesis mo. Okay, so parang if one is selected, the other is rejected and vice versa. So dun sa example natin, one hypothesis might claim that wage of men and women are equal, while the other hypothesis might claim that men make more than women. No? So, dalawang hypothesis na pwede natin gawin doon. No? Either hypothesis 1 is equal yung sweldo nila, and then hypothesis 2 is mas malaki yung sweldo ni men kaysa women. Okay? Hypothesis testing starts by making a set of two statements about the parameter in a question. Okay? So, again, two competing hypothesis yung tinatawag natin dito. So, ano ba yung two competing hypothesis natin? Number 1 is the null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. So the hypothesis which is null is actually to be tested is usually given by the symbol H naught or H sub 0 and is commonly referred as null hypothesis. Now, basta H sub 0 or H naught, it's null hypothesis. On the other hand, yung hypothesis na man natin, ano, which is assumed to be true when null hypothesis is false. Ibig sabihin, pag ni-reject natin si null hypothesis, yung unang hypothesis natin, automatically true si alternate hypothesis. No? Ang tawag natin doon is alternate hypothesis and is symbolized by H sub 1. So, two hypotheses are exclusive and exhaustive. Ibig sabihin, they are independent of each other. And kung kukunin natin si null hypothesis, automatically reject si alternate. Or kung kukunin natin si alternate, automatic na reject si null hypothesis. So, yeah, the plural of the hypothesis, no, yung may I is the hypothesis. So that's why these two are exclusive and exhaustive. Okay, so let's have just like this very um, relatable example. No, for example, we have the Ministry of Human Resource Development of the BARM. No, takes an initiative. No, so to improve the country's human resources and hence set up 23 MSU1s in the country doon sa exam. No, so yung BARM na yon gustong kumuha ng 23 na graduate ng MSU, no, in the country, no. So probably, no, ang mga graduates natin from MSU are very competitive, and they are very what they call this, competent, no, for the positions for the human resource development of the BARM, no. So to measure the engineering aptitudes of the graduates, HRD conducts examination for a mark of 1,000 in every year. So in every year, dapat meron kang score na 1,000, no? A sample of 300 students who gave examination in 2018 were collected, and the mean is observed as 220, no? So ang mean ng scores nila, bali yung 100, yun 100, the 1,000 is yun yung examination for a mark. So yun yung total number of items natin. And then 300 students yung pinatake mo na exam, and then ang mean ng score nila is 220. So in this context, statistical hypothesis testing is to determine the mean mark of all the exam, the GATE 2018 examinees. So yung examinee natin dito are the 300 students, no? The two hypotheses in this context are, so ano yung hypothesis natin? 'Di ba sinabi natin na ang mean natin sa 300 students natin is 220. So yung 220 na yun is the mean of the sample na 300 students. Ngayon, mag-hypothesize tayo ng population, no? Yung mean ba natin ng sample, yung sample mean ba natin is a representative of the population mean? Yun ba talaga yung value niya? So ibig sabihin, the null hypothesis natin ay, una, yung null hypothesis natin is the mean, or the population mean, the mu, that's the population mean, is equal to the sample mean, which is 220. Okay? So kung in-accept natin siya, no, kung na-accept natin siya, ibig sabihin, yung totoong population mean is 220, given, derived from the sample. No? Second hypothesis natin, the alternate hypothesis natin is, let's just say that the mu is less than 220. So yung population mean natin mas maliit sa 220. Ibig sabihin, pwede natin um, i-derive or i-conclude or i-infer na mababa yung mga scores ng mga nag-take ng GATE exam. Okay? So the first hypothesis usually is naka-equal sign siya, no? Naka-equal sign siya, and the alternate hypothesis usually siya yung naka-logical operator, either naka greater than, less than or equal, and so on and so forth. And pwede din natin gawing is not, or equals then not, uh, is not equal, no? Pwede natin gawing is not equal si alternate hypothesis. Pero pinaka-safe na gagawin natin dito, si null hypothesis, always the equal, no? We want to equal the sample parameter to the population parameter. Okay? So, here, as a null hypothesis, we always choose the H naught where the population mean is less than or equal to 220, or H naught is equal to mu greater than or equal to 220. We could choose that. Pwede nating i-choose na mag-logical tayo sa H naught. But it is customary, no? It is customary to always have the null hypothesis with an equal sign. So, yung greater than or less than natin, tatanggalin natin dito sa null hypothesis. Gagawin natin equal lang si null hypothesis. So, as an alternative hypothesis or the alternate hypothesis, there are many options available with us, no? If mu is equal to 220, we can have an alternate hypothesis where mu is greater than 220. We can have mu is less than 220, and we can also have mu it's not equal to 220. Okay? So the two hypotheses should be chosen in such a way that they are exclusive, ibig sabihin they are independent of each other, and exhaustive, ibig sabihin that one must be true and the one is must be false. No? So kung kinuha mo si null hypothesis, automatically reject mo si alternate hypothesis and vice versa. So sa pag-test natin ng mga hypothesis, we have two tests here, no? The one-tailed and the two-tailed. The one-tailed and the two-tailed. Pag sinabi natin one-tailed test, the statistical test in which the alternative hypothesis specifies that the population parameter lies entirely above or below the specified value specified in the null hypothesis. No? So this is the one-sided or one-tailed test. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi natin tinanggap si null hypothesis natin, yung siyempre hindi natin tinanggap si null hypothesis natin, so automatically doon tayo kay alternate hypothesis. Yung alternate hypothesis dapat natin must lie entirely above or below the value specified. For example, dun sa, if our null hypothesis is mu is equal to 100, no, the alternate can be above or below. So above, which is mu is greater than 100, or below, pwede kang gumawa ng alternate hypothesis ni mo na mu is less than 100, no? So yun lang yung one-tailed test natin, above or below lang siya. Pag two-tailed test tayo, the if rejected si null hypothesis mo, the alternative hypothesis or the alternate hypothesis that specifies that the parameter can lie on the on their sides of the value specified by h naught is called two-sided. Ibig sabihin, yung value ng h ano, nung value ng mean mo must both be greater than or less than, and that is equal to not that is equivalent to not equal. Ibig sabihin, the h naught is mu is equal to 100, h1 is always mu is not equal to 100. Si two-tailed test natin yan. So, ikon ko ha, isummarize ko tong dalawang test na to. Si one-tailed, kung ang h1 natin, the alternate hypothesis is always greater than or less than. Pag not equal, two-tailed test siya. No? Sa two-tailed test natin, mu is not equal to 100. Okay? So, in fact, a one-tailed test, no, we say that the h naught, the null hypothesis is mu is 100, and the alternate hypothesis is that mu is greater than 100, which is good. Which is also the same as this, where null hypothesis is mu is less than or equal to 100, when h1 is mu is greater than 100. So same lang sila. In essence, when mu is greater than 100, it does not imply that mu is greater than 80, mu is greater than 90. No? Automatic, once na nag-mu is 100 ka, hindi ibig sabihin na mu is greater than 80. No? Always mu is equal to 100. Okay? Uh, pero it is customary to have mu is equal to 100. No? Always sa null hypothesis natin mag-equal tayo. Kasi pag sinabi natin mu is greater than 100, tapos ni-reject natin siya, pwedeng natin sabihin na okay, this is false, and then the mu equal or mu less than or equal might be true. Okay? So, let's have an example here. The manufacturer of a certain brand of cigarettes claims that the average nicotine content does not exceed 2.5 milligram. No? Hindi daw lalampas ng 2.5 milligram yung nicotine doon sa cigarette. Yun yung sabi nung manufacturer. Now, you have to state the null and alternative hypothesis to be used in testing this claim and determine where the critical region is located. No? So, yung sa critical region natin yan is where the critical value lies. No? So, si critical region is what is on the right of the critical value. Or Kung sa kabila tayo, sa left tayo, on the left of the critical value. Di ba kumuha na tayo ng critical value sa midterms natin? The critical value is the position of the z. No? Critical value is the position of the z natin doon sa z distribution natin. Okay, so how to do the how to construct the null and alternative hypothesis here. So the manufacturer claim, no, sinabi niya na sinabi niya na the nicotine content does not exceed 2.5. So yung 2.5, yun na yung ceiling mo, yun na yung pinaka at most mo na nicotine content. Ibig sabihin kung lalagpas ka ng 2.5, no, automatically rejected ka na. No, rejected na yung claim mo. So the manufacturer's claim should be rejected only if the mu, which is this 2.5, no, mu is greater than 2.5 milligram and should be accepted if mu is less than or equal to 2.5. So since the null hypothesis always specifies the single value, so dapat single value lang siya. So I'm gonna edit na lang this one. Oh, where's that? Wait lang. The hypothesis. Okay. So, dapat, single value lang si null hypothesis natin. So, gagawin natin siyang equal. Okay. So, sa null hypothesis natin, mu is equal to 2.5, while the H1, the alternative natin, is greater than 2.5. Why? Okay? Kung ang mu natin na makuha is 2.5, no, which is true, no, automatically i-reject natin si 2.5. Okay? But if ma-fail natin na si mu is 2.5, i-accept natin na mu is 2.5, mu is greater than 2.5, ibig sabihin, hindi totoo yung sinabi ni manufacturer na hindi sila lumalabas ng 2.5. Although we have stated the null hypothesis with an equal sign, it is understood to include any value not specified by the alternative hypothesis. Tama naman, uh, yung kanina na statement natin na less than or equal to 0.5, tama naman siya. Pwede naman siyang gamitin. But then, as customary, the null hypothesis should have always an equal sign. Kung ni-reject natin si H1, hindi natin tinanggap si H1, si alternate hypothesis, it is it is it is understood, no, or it is assumed na lahat ng hindi kasali sa H1, yun yung true, yun yung tatanggapin natin. Consequently, the acceptance of the H naught or the null hypothesis does not imply that mu is exactly 2.5, but rather that we do not have any sufficient evidence favoring H1, no? Um, pag tinanggap natin si mu is equal to 2.5, hindi automatically na ang value ng mean talaga natin is 2.5. Sinabi lang natin na wala tayong sapat na ebidensya para tanggapin si alternate hypothesis. So may posibilidad na yung value natin must be less than or equal to 2.5. Ayaw lang talaga nating tanggapin si H1 or si alternate hypothesis. Second example, a real estate agent claims that 60% of all the private residents being built today are 3-bedroom homes, no? So parang 60% ng private residents kayang mag 3-bedroom. To test this claim, a large sample of new residences are inspected. The proportion of these homes with bedrooms is recorded and used as our test statistics. So proportion yung ginawa niya. Kanina, mean yung ginawa niya na proportion mo, mean yung ginawa niya na statistic mo. Dito, ang ginamit niya is proportion, which is probably a binomial. No, basta proportion tayo, binomial agad yan. State the null and alternative hypothesis to be used in this test and determine the location of the critical region. So automatically the solution, if the test is substantially higher or lower than P is equal to 0.6, then we would reject the agent's claim. Kasi sinabi niya, uh, 60% lang daw. No? So kung hindi 60%, automatically, the, no, this must be edited. This must be the proportion, not mu. We say that, ah, wrong. Sorry, wrong yung na-edit ko. Okay, here, dito ako mag-edit. When the proportion P hindi ka nag-specify sa problem mo na greater than or less than 60%. Ang sinabi niya lang, 60% claims, no? 60% of all private residents built today are three-bedroom homes. Pero hindi sinabi, so automatically, kung 60% ng mga tao ay may three-bedroom homes, not 60%, no? Yun yung nag-build siguro ng two-bedroom homes or hindi nag-build ng three-bedroom homes. So, the null hypothesis natin is that P, the proportion is 0.6 and the alternate natin is the proportion is not 0.6. So, ito, gumagamit tayo ng two-tailed test. Dito, gagamit tayo ng one-tailed test since below or since above the value of the null hypothesis yung kukunin natin. But if it's not equal, automatically two-tailed yung gagamitin natin sa critical region natin. Divided equally in both tails of the distribution of out-of-test statistics. No? So later on, titingnan natin kung paano tayo kukuha ng critical region. Anyway, critical region is same lang sa paggawa natin nung critical value natin nung prelim natin. Yung critical value doon sa Z natin. So there are always errors in hypothesis testing, 'di ba? Nag-hypothesize tayo. Pero tama ba yung hypothesize natin? Meron ba tayong certain level of error, no? So there are two kinds of error here. The type 1 error and the type 2 error. Pag sinabi natin type 1 error, no? The type 1 error occurs when we incorrectly reject HO or the null hypothesis. So we incorrectly reject HO. So we reject the null hypothesis when H not is true. So parang incorrectly reject the HO. Ibig sabihin tinanggap natin si HO, no? Um yeah. Tinanggap natin si null hypothesis HO, no? When we incorrectly reject HO, tinanggap natin si HO tapos no, tinanggap natin si HO, ni-reject natin si H1. Pero mali pala yon. Error pala yon. No? Nagkamali tayo ng pagtanggap kay HO. Yun pala yung tamang statement doon. Type 1 error, it means, nagkamali tayo ng pagtanggap kay HO. Na instead na i-reject natin si HO, hindi natin siya na-reject. And that probability of type 1 error is called alpha. So we have two types of error dito. No? Sorry. So we have two errors. Okay. Number one is yung type 1. So yung type 1 error natin, automatically, uh, we incorrectly, so incorrectly reject. Incorrectly reject the H naught. Na instead na i-reject natin si H naught, tinanggap natin si H naught. No? And the probability of type 1 error is called the alpha. No? Yung alpha natin doon sa pareha sa alpha natin doon sa ginawa natin sa midterm, no? So ibig sabihin kung mataas si alpha natin, mataas din yung pag pag-accept natin kay HO na hindi dapat natin siya i-accept. Mataas din yung yun pala. Pag mataas si alpha, mataas yung pagkakamali natin na tinanggap natin si HO, no? So increase alpha means na taas yung pagkakamali, increase yung incorrect natin, no? Yeah. Mataas yung pagkakamali natin para natanggapin si HO. Wait lang. tama ba? Incorrectly reject the HO. Kasi sa type 1 error kasi, it's the probability, okay, there is a possibility that in test of hypothesis that it is rejected even if it is reality is true. Okay. So, I'm looking at the other reference now. Ang statement is, yung type 1 error is na-reject mo si hypothesis, which is dapat tanggapin natin. Okay, tama. Again, let me correct myself there. When we say incorrectly reject HO, no, ibig sabihin, instead na tanggapin natin si HO, ni-reject natin. No? So, kung mataas yung alpha natin, mataas yung pagkakamali natin para i-reject si HO. No? Mataas yung pagkakamali natin na i-reject natin si HO. Number two, the type 2 error. Ang sa type 2 error naman, 'di ba dapat i-reject natin si HO pero hindi natin siya na-reject, no? Natanggap natin siya. Uh, uh, Actually, ang HO kasi dito sa type 1, dapat true siya, no? True siya. Tapos, na-reject natin siya, which is yung pag-reject natin, mali pala, no? Incorrectly reject. Sa type 2 naman, is incorrectly fail to reject HO. So, yun yung um, mali si HO, pero tinanggap natin, no? So, we have false HO, but was accepted. Ito, true CHO but was rejected. No? Totoo si HO sa type 1 pero na-reject natin. Dito, um, mali si HO pero tinanggap natin but was accepted. No? False HO but it was accepted. Yun si type 2 error. And si type 2 error is actually the probability of the type 2 error is what we call the beta, no, beta. So usually si alpha yung ginagamit natin. This is na totoo sana si HO pero na-reject natin. Yun yung type 1 error. So this is the parang summary ng table natin, no. If HO is true, totoo si true, pero na-reject natin, type 1 error 'yon. Okay? Pero if HO is false pero gi-accept natin, type 2 error siya. Okay? So type 1 error calculation is denoted by alpha. Yung sinabi ko kanina, alpha, no? Denotes the probability of making type 1 error, and type 1 error is equal to the probability of rejecting the HO that supposedly true si HO. No, true dapat si HO pero na-reject natin. So yun yung error. Kung malakas yung error natin, no? Malakas din yung pagkakamali natin na tama na sana si HO pero gi-reject pa natin. No, type 2 error naman is accepting HO. No, we accept the HO but given that the HO is false. So A and B are not independent of each other. As one increases, the other decreases. No, so they are dependent. No, when the sample size increases, both to decrease since sampling error is reduced. No, so malaki na yung sample mo, lahat ng mga errors mo lumiliit yung errors mo. Kaya nga dapat na once na nagsasampling tayo, as much as possible, meron tayong limit nung n natin. For example, for the central limit theorem to follow, yung n natin must be greater than or equal to 30, no? For any type of distribution. So in general, we focus on type 1 error, but type 2 error is also important. So type 1 error tayo in general kasi usually alpha naman tayo eh. So particularly when the sample size is small. So as much as possible, gusto natin si alpha gamay. No? As much as possible, we want alpha to be small as possible. Mas maliit na alpha, mas better. Mas maliit yung error natin. How do we calculate the alpha? Assuming that we have the results of a random sample, hence we use the characteristics of a sampling distribution to calculate the probabilities of making either type 1 or type 2 error. So, suppose two hypotheses in a statistical testing are, so meron kang dalawang hypothesis. The null hypothesis is equal to mu is equal to A, and the alternate hypothesis is mu is not equal to A. So, automatically, dyan pala alam natin na two-tailed test yung gagamitin natin. Okay. By the way, ma-insert ko lang, bakit ba kailangan natin specify kung one-tailed test siya o two-tailed test? If you uh, look doon sa table natin, please grab your tables. Let me look sa table. Where's my table? Yeah. Sa table natin, table 8.7, table 8.8, table 8.9, yeah, they all have the two-sided interval or one-sided interval. No? So si one-sided interval, always ginagamit natin siya pag less than or equal yung alternate hypothesis natin. But if not equal ang hypothesis, alternate hypothesis natin, two-side interval tayo titingin. No? So naka-compartmentalize naman siya sa tables natin. So, assume for a given sample, population obeys normal distribution. A threshold limit, say alpha or A, is positive, negative, delta, is used to say that they are significantly differ from A. So, di ba we always say that in the Z distribution natin, we have the bell-shaped curve. And then yung bell-shaped curve natin, the one in the middle is the Z is equal to 0, or kung sa normal distribution natin, that's mu. No? So, here, gagawa tayo ngayon ng critical value natin. Again, yung critical value natin is dun yung Z na based on your confidence interval. No? So here, pag nag-shade tayo doon sa left ng alpha minus delta and sa right ng alpha minus delta, the shaded region implies that the probability x bar, the probability of the mean, is less than alpha minus delta. So lahat ng nasa left natin here is yun yung alpha minus delta, and lahat ng nasa right natin is yung alpha plus delta. So, dyan nangyayari yung mga errors natin. No? So, sa shaded region, both sa two-tailed natin na test, shaded region sa left and sa right, doon nangyayari si error natin. Thus, the null hypothesis is to be rejected if the mean value is less than alpha minus delta or greater than alpha minus delta. So, for example, meron tayong na-calculate na mean, tapos yung calculate na mean natin is nandito sa shaded region, automatically, i-reject natin si null hypothesis. Kasi i-accept lang natin si null hypothesis if nandito siya sa loob ng puting region na to. Again, if yung mean na nakuha natin is nandito sa loob, no? Nandito sa loob ng white region natin, we will accept the null hypothesis. Tatanggapin natin si null hypothesis. Otherwise, rejected. So, if x bar or the mean denotes the sample mean, then type 1 error, yung mga type 1 error natin, again, yun yung mga shaded region natin, is here. No? Is sa left and sa right. So yung rejection region natin, the rejection region comprises of a valley of the statistics for which the probability when the null hypothesis is true is less than or equal to the specified alpha. No? So magre-reject tayo if less than alpha, no, for one tailed region or greater than alpha for one tailed region. Probability when H1 is true are greater than or under the H naught. No? So dapat under the H naught siya, then ibig sabihin the probability for this is true. So to simplify lang, to simplify lang, if yung mu natin is equal to alpha is andito siya na region, no? do not reject the H naught. Ibig sabihin, i-accept natin si H naught. I-accept natin si null hypothesis. But, if yung yung A natin, no, or the mean natin is andito, sa left and sa right, then we reject the null hypothesis. Conversely, i-accept natin si alternate. No? Reject the H naught, accept the alternate. Here, accept the H naught, reject the alternate. Okay, so sa two-tailed test naman natin is, yun nga, sinabi ko kanina that sa null hypothesis natin is equal, sa alternate hypothesis natin is not equal. In other words, to reject a null hypothesis, the sample mean must be greater than H naught and must be greater than the mu H naught under a given alpha. Thus, in a two-tailed test, there are two rejection regions, also known as the critical regions, one for each tail of the sampling distribution curve. Okay. So, acceptance and rejection regions in case of total test when we have 5 significance level. So, yung 5 significance level, automatically the alpha is 0.05. No? Yung significance level, siya yung nagsasabi na ito yung error mo. No? Parang significance level is synonymous sa tolerance level. Ilan yung kaya mong i-tolerate na error? So 5% kaya mong i-tolerate na error, ibig sabihin yung 0.025 na area sa left and 0.025 na area sa right. Okay, so one-tailed test naman natin, less than or greater than ang gagamitin natin. Hindi natin hahatiin si bell-shaped curve natin into like two tails ng rejection area natin or rejection region, no? Isa lang. So kung sabi natin 5% 5% na significance level, yung 5% nandito. Wala ka nang ilalagay na shaded region dito. Again, yung significance level is equal to the error level or the tolerance level natin. Okay, so na-discuss ko kanina paano ba tayo magkaroon ng testing procedures, no? The hypothesis testing natin. Just wait. Okay, so number one, if you have a problem, you always specify the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. And then you indicate the level of the alpha ninyo or the significance level ninyo or the tolerance level ninyo. So, makikita naman yung mga problems natin. Number two, you determine the appropriate sample based test statistics and the region for the specified H naught. So, kailangan alam natin yung test statistics. Either it's a mean, a variance, a standard deviation na dapat i-determine natin siya. And the rejection region. Paano natin makukuha si rejection region? Always look for the critical value. So, critical value, if it's one-tailed, so isa lang na critical value ang hahanapin natin. If it's two-tailed, automatically dalawang critical value yung gagamitin natin. Number three, you collect the sample data and calculate the test statistics. So, mag-input ka lang ng data doon sa formula natin. And number four, once you get now the value of z or the variance or the mean, you make a decision. Either you reject or you fail. Uh, yeah, you reject or you accept. No, fail to reject is synonymous to the accept. So either you reject or you accept the null hypothesis. Then you interpret the result in common language suitable for practitioners. Okay, so another, no, in summary, we have to choose between H naught and H1. Yun naman talaga eh. If meron kang dalawang hypothesis, if you accept the H naught, then automatically reject si H1. They're exhaustive. Number two, the standard procedure is to assume that H naught is true. No, yun yung always nagagawin natin, that we always assume that the null hypothesis is the true. Gaya ng, for example, sa jury natin, we always presume the criminal as an innocent until proven guilty, no? So that's why you have your parang right to against self-incrimination, no? Number three is using statistical test. We try to determine whether there is a sufficient evidence to declare that H naught is false, no? Kasi yun naman parang ay sige, so let's go back to the criminal natin na example. Okay, so we presume na innocent si criminal natin, no? Until may nakita kang ebidensya na siya talaga yung suspect, no? Um, magiging true pa rin siya, magiging inosente pa rin siya. So ang gagawin ngayon ng investigator or ng lawyer ng kalaban, hahanap siya ng paraan para mapakita na false siya or mapakita na hindi siya innocent, mapakita na the null hypothesis is false or mapakita na talagang guilty siya. No, so we will accept the alternate hypothesis which is siya talagang criminal. No, kasi ang the alternate hypothesis which is siya talagang criminal kasi yung null hypothesis natin is innocent pa siya. So we reject H naught or we reject only when the chances is small that H naught is true. No. And then the procedure is based on the probability theory that there is a chance that we can make errors. So chances pa rin. No? That's why meron tayong confidence level, meron tayong significance level, and so on and so forth. So, parang si confidence level natin, no? Yung confidence level natin from the midterm natin, for example, we say 95% confidence level, no? The discrepancy natin sa 95 is 5. And then that 5 is the significance level or the tolerance level natin. Or the error level natin. No? So, master na natin si confidence level, punta naman tayo sa significance level. Consider the two hypotheses here. We say that the null hypothesis is the mu is equal to 8. So, yung mean ng population natin is 8. So, yung alternate hypothesis natin is mu is not equal to 8. So, from there, alam natin na two-tailed test yung gagamitin natin. Assume that the given sample size is 16. So, 16 lang kinuha natin and the standard deviation of the population um, 0.2 yung standard deviation natin. Um, and the sample follows a normal distribution. So, nag-follow na siya ng normal distribution, automatically, we can use this z-test natin. So, we can decide the rejection region as follows. Suppose that the null hypothesis is to be rejected if the mean value is less than 7.9 and greater than 8.9. No, so, sa example natin, I'm gonna write na lang. So sa example natin, we say that the null hypothesis is equal to mu is equal to 8. Okay. Okay, that's I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we say that mu is equal to 8. No? Ibig sabihin, kung hindi 8 si mu, automatically rejected si null hypothesis natin. No? So, para ma-reject to siya for H1, H naught to be rejected, kailangan yung value ng mean natin pwedeng mu less than 7.9 or pwedeng mu is greater than 8.1 para masabi natin na okay, i-reject natin si null hypothesis natin. Just just wait. Okay. So, if that's the case na gusto natin siya i-reject, if the sample mean x bar, the probability of type 1 error is then so ito yung error nat so ito yung i-reject natin siya. Therefore, yung probability ng yung alpha natin na value is probability what happened here ba? Alpha is the probability of the mean will have a value of less than 7.9 or the mean will have a value of 8.1. no? Ibig sabihin mare-reject lang natin si H naught if ito yung value ng mean natin, no? Yung mean natin dito is sample mean ha. So given the sigma as a standard deviation of the sample 0.2, then the distribution follows the normal distribution. So, titingnan ngayon natin ha. If 7.9 yung x bar natin or the sample mean natin, remember paano tayo kukuha? For example, x is less than x bar, sorry. I think we say that x bar is less than 7.9. So, paano tayo gagawa? I-translate natin siya sa z. So, z is equal to x bar minus the mean of the population divided by 0.2 over square root of n, which is 16. No? Yan tayo gagawa dun sa z natin, dun sa estimation natin. Therefore, the z here must be less than negative 2.0. Okay? So, if x bar natin is greater than 8.1, lahat nito i-reject si null ha, will have a z value of, um, yeah, the probability of z. So, yung z natin, kung 8.1 tayo, we have 8.1 minus 8 over 0.2 square root of 16. So, the z natin ngayon is 2. So, the probability where the z is greater than 2. So, titingnan ngayon natin sa z table natin, no? The probability of this negative 2, tingnan natin sa z table natin. Let's wait. Para ma-confirm natin. So, punta kayo sa z table and then punta kayo sa uh, negative 2. Um, areas under the normal curve, table 8.3. Hanapin natin sa negative 2. The negative 2 has a value of negative 0.0228. So, tama. That's 0.0. So, this one is 0.00, no, 0 lang. 10. That's 228. And this one at positive is again similar. So, yun yung magiging value natin ng mga z. Therefore, if ito yung, ang ibig sabihin kasi nito is that if we draw the curve and then we have negative 2 here and then we have the assuming perfect bell shape to, we have 2.0 here. Yung area na ito, that area is equal to 0.0228 and this area again is equal to 0.0228. Therefore, the alpha, no, yung total na error natin or the significance level or the tolerance level natin is the additive of these two, which is equal to 0.0456, no, which is almost equal to 0.05. So this 0.05 will incur a 95% confidence interval. Okay, so how do you calculate alpha and beta? So um, There are two identically appearing boxes of chocolate. Assuming, no, dalawang boxes of chocolate here. Let's draw na lang. So we have two boxes of chocolate, the box A and the box B. Okay, so the box A contains 6 red, 60 red, and we have 40 black chocolates. So kay B naman, we have 40 na red and we have 60 na black. There is no label on either the box. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung label ng box na yun. And then, isang box lang yung ilagay mo sa table. So, one box is placed on table. Isa lang. So, hindi mo alam ngayon kung si box A ba yun or si box B. Ang alam mo lang, ang premise ni box A is may 60 red chocolate siya, meron siyang 40 black chocolates. While black B, 40 red chocolates, 60 black chocolates. Now, we are to test the hypothesis that box B is on the table. We now have to test if yung nilagay ba nating box doon is the box B, indeed the box B. No? So, yung population ng box B, 40 red and 60 black. No? So, by proportion, we say that if we have box B as yung null hypothesis natin is nilagay natin na box B, the proportion must be for the red is 40%, for the black 60%, and so on and okay. So to test the hypothesis, an experiment is planned. Number one, you draw five chocolates from the box. So di ba, you have 100 chocolates sa isang box. Kukuha ka lang ng 5. So yung population mo is equal to 100, and then you have your sample, number of sample. Oh, yeah. Your your population, your population n is equal to 100. No, dako na n. Yung sample mo is just 5. So, kukuha ka lang ng 5 na chocolate doon, malalaman mo ba, no? If B siya or A siya na box. So, we replace each chocolate before selecting new one. So, once na nagkuha ka ng isang chocolate, then record mo, okay, red ang nakuha ko. Then, ibabalik mo ulit. I-replace mo para magkakaroon ka ng um, normal distribution. No? So, the number of red chocolates in an experiment is considered as the sample statistics. So, ang kukuha lang natin is this one. So, we say na yung red natin is 40%. No? Yung red natin is 40%. Therefore, if consider natin the P is 0.4 for uh, box B. Now, so let us express the population parameter P, no, the number of chocolates in a box B. So, we say that gagawa tayo ngayon ng mga hypothesis natin. Sabihin natin that the null hypothesis natin, no, yung first na hypothesis natin, which is the null hypothesis, we say that if the population parameter is 0.4, automatically, that is box B. No? It means that box B is on the table. Means that we have the box B. But if the H1 natin, the alternate natin, P is equal to 0.6, it means that you have a box A on the table. Now, we now have to calculate the alpha. In this example, the null hypothesis H naught specifies that the probability of drawing a red chocolate is 4. This means that lower proportion of red chocolates in the observation favors the null hypothesis. No? So, kung mas maliit yung makuha mo na proportion, 0.4 and zero point 0.6, kung mas maliit, which is 0.4, automatically, i-favor natin si null hypothesis. In other words, drawing all red chocolates provides sufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis. Okay? So, kung makakuha ka, ibig sabihin ng maraming chocolate, 0.6 is more than half, no? Kung makakuha ka ng maraming chocolate, red chocolate, automatically, i-reject mo na si null hypothesis, kukunin mo na ngayon si alternate hypothesis. Then the probability of making the type 1 error is the probability of getting 5 red chocolates in a sample of 5 from the box B. Automatically, the alpha is the probability of getting x, random variable x is equal to 5. Kasi pag yung 5 na kinuha mo doon na chocolate, lima lahat yun is red, automatically ma, 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 reject mo na to kasi 0.4 lang yung 0.4 lang yung red mo as a population proportion, no? So, therefore, by binomial distribution natin, recall the binomial distribution natin, no, that the probability of this will happen, no, the probability of this one is equal to n factorial x n factorial, yeah, p to the x and then 1 minus p n to the x. That will give you when n and x is equal to when n is equal to 5 and x is equal to 5, no, then therefore we have 0.4 raised to 5. This is 0.01024. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the alpha, the error natin na magre-reject tayo ng H naught is around 1%. 1.1%. No? So the probability of rejecting the null hypothesis, mari-reject lang natin si null hypothesis if we have a probability of 1.1%. That is there an approximately 1 over 100 chance that the box B will be mislabeled as box A. Okay? Automatically, kung lahat ng nabunot mo is red, i-reject na natin siya. So what is the probability na i-reject natin? So the probability of rejection is under the binomial distribution natin. Okay, so ganun tayo kumuha ng alpha. Always i-assume natin na i-reject natin si H naught. No? Just like here sa PCAS, kailangan natin maghanap ng probability na i-reject natin si alpha. So i-reject natin si alpha if 7.9 or greater than 8.1. Less than 7.9, 8.1. So ganun tayo maghanap ng alpha. Always look for the ways para ma-reject natin si null hypothesis. So this is a type 2 error lang. Type 2 error occurs if we accept or fail to reject the null hypothesis when it is not true. For the current illustration, such as situations here, if the box A is on a table but we did not get 5 red chocolates required to reject the hypothesis that box B is on the table. So we did not get 5 red chocolates para i-reject natin si hypothesis natin. So we say that the B is the probability where the X is less than or equal to 4. No? So by probability rule, when find the probability of X less than 4, if mag-add tayo ng X is equal to 5, then it's equal to 1. No? And then geto tayo magkuha no from the table natin nung mga properties natin. And then we say that the B is equal to 0.92. So there is the probability of making type 2 error. Ang type 2 error, ibig sabihin, um, we have false ang HO, hindi totoo sa HO pero gi-accept natin. No? So, 92% yan. So, there are hypothesis testing strategies na kailangan natin gawin. The hypothesis testing determines the validity of an assumption, technically described as null hypothesis, with a view to choose between two conflicting hypotheses about the value of population parameters. Again, yung hypothesis testing natin, umiikot lang siya doon sa dalawang hypothesis na kailangan mong i-reject ang isa and then i-accept ang isa. So there are two types of test of hypothesis. We have the non-parametric test and the parametric test. Si non-parametric test, also called the distribution-free test of hypothesis, wala tayong distribution ito. Kukuha lang tayo ng mga samples uh, sa mga sample lang. No? Kukuha lang tayo ng mga samples. Non-parametric siya. But if given tayo ng distribution niya, automatically parametric test siya. So parametric test, no? So sa engineering kasi mas ginagamit natin si parametric test eh. Si non-parametric test usually sa mga social sciences siya, no? When you do sampling or sa mga bio, yan, mga non-parametric test. Pero sa parametric test talaga, dun papasok yung meron kang certain number of population, tapos yung population mo is normally distributed, then mag-parametric test ka. Usually assume certain properties of the population from which we draw samples like observation from a normal population. So naka-normal population and then kukuha ka ng inference mo. Usually from a huge population, you will just use small sample size. Again, ma-remember natin si t-test. Si t-test, ginagamit natin siya pag less ang sample natin, but automatically we assume that the distribution is normal. Si t-test yung ginagamit natin. But if we have a population distribution na hindi natin na-mention, kailangan natin mag n greater than 30 para makapag-CLT tayo, the central limit theorem. Or kung finite yung population natin, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng correction factor. So population parameters like mean, variance, etc. hold good. Requirements, measurement, equivalence to interval scale data. So, these are the most important parametric test. No? Ito yung pinaka-importante na parametric test natin. The t-test, the z-test, the chi-squared test, and the f-test. Lahat ito similar lang sa ginawa natin ng midterm. So, i-carry over lang natin yung discussion natin from the midterm to here. So, all these tests are based on the assumption of normality. Automatic, yung population natin is normal. If hindi natin alam na population natin is normal, and then wala tayong idea ng population natin, then non-parametric yung gagamitin natin. So we have different types of hypothesis testings. These are list lang, no? Ang nalagay lang sa mga different cases na to are the Z and T test. Although may mga chi-square test and F test tayo. Wait, ang that's why yung cases lang natin dito is for the mean lang ata to. Yes, these are for means. Iba pa yung sa variance natin. So these are for means. Yeah. So the assumptions, hypothesis testing for mean for the wait, where can I get a mean here? Okay, I'm gonna put na lang for mean. So where's the new? Okay. Okay. So, for example, for a normal population, the population is infinite, malaking infinite natin. Sample size may be large or small. Variance of the population is known. Automatically, the n here must be greater than or equal to 30. Normal population, gagamitin natin case number 1. So, ginawa na natin to sa estimation of the population parameter natin, no? So, the mu lang natin na gagamitin dito is the mu of the null hypothesis. Ano yung mu doon sa null hypothesis natin? For example, the mu of null hypothesis natin is 8, gaya ng example natin kanina. So yung 8 yung ilalagay natin dito. No? Again, si null hypothesis is always equal sign siya. But if the population is finite and sample size may be large or small, variance is known, gagamit tayo ng correction factor, no? The population correction factor. Number 3, case number 3, population mo is normal, infinite number ka, but the sample size is very small, then variance is unknown, gagamit ka ng t-test or yung t-distribution natin. If the population is finite, but the variance is here is variance is unknown, here is variance is known kasi meron kang sigma here, then we will use this kind of an equation, no? Nasa midterms natin yan. We also have the variance of the population, no? If variance of population is known, replace S by the sigma. Population normal, population infinite, sample size is small, and variance of the population is unknown. Okay, so the next topic natin here are the parametric test. Isa-isay natin si parametric test from the t-test going to the z-test, and then mag chi-squared test tayo, and then f-test tayo. Okay? So next meeting we will discuss all of the parametric test natin. Did you follow? Did you
Yes,
follow?
yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much for coming to the class. Um, next meeting, we will continue the discussion sa parametric test natin. Pag natapos natin yung parametric test natin, um, next week, we'll do the design of experiment. So, yeah, probably yun na yung last. So, ngayon ko pa lang sasabihin sa inyo na yung two modules na natitira, automatically mag-exam na tayo ng finals natin. Kasi two modules na lang eh. The statistical inference and the design of experiment. And since matatapos na yung klase, actually this week, matatapos dapat yung klase. But then I will extend next week. So probably mag-exam tayo ng finals next week. Okay, so finals, sasabihin ko na ngayon, might be on 26 or 27. Hindi ko naman gawing finals yung 25. No? Okay, so ngayon ko lang sabihin the finals sa lahat ng ENS 185 na sections might fall on 26 or 27 after the Christmas. Do you have any question pa? And hopefully, before tayo mag-exam ng finals, mabigay ko sa inyo yung test results natin for both prelims and midterms para ma-assess nyo yung sarili niyo. Yung standing ninyo. Kung kailangan nyo bang humabol para makapasa or kailangan nyo humabol ng certain scores para makakuha ng good grades or excellent grade. Okay, so thank you for coming to the class. Let's meet this Thursday again. No? So sa klase niyo na lang ako magsisync. Okay, so if wala na, thank you for coming.
Thank you.